minute to go. Then we go live. Oh, I guess we're going live now.
It takes half a minute or so for these things to work.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm being proactive. Thought you'd be proud.
There you go. I am. I'm very proud. I just hit my timer.
I'm accusing that for you. There you go.
There we go. There we go. Hey, y'all.
Now you're live.
I cannot see your comments. I can't see who's coming on today. I can't see any of that. So Frank is taking all of your questions today, and he will relay the important ones to me.
You're all important.
I'm always important. I'm not important, but they're all important. You guys are all important. Yeah, you guys are all important. I was looking today for my, I'm sorry, I left those.
Supposed to be for the customers?
Shh. You can throw those in the garbage.
Are you sure you're not keeping them?
No, I just get goofy. Oh, be quiet. Just be quiet. I've been getting into the rockets here at work lately. And if you don't know what rockets are, I'll go grab some. I'll be right back.
Rocket ship. Hi, Jason. Richard says you can hear me now, so I'm just going to say hi like that instead.
Ah.
Hi, Alfredo.
I'm demonstrating some rockets. Yeah.
Are you using your desktop today?
Yes, I am. I want to show off those websites today.
Make sure you give me the old 3-second glory.
Yep. There. These, for anybody that doesn't know, are rockets. Let me switch to this camera. These are rockets. They're kind of a sweet and sour kind of candy, almost like sweet tarts. I don't know if you guys know what sweet tarts are.
Anybody on the planet that does not know what a rocket is, especially after seeing one?
Well, see, these
probably be in Canada, Canadian
in the UK, or pardon me, in the US, these are considered Smarties.
Really?
Yeah, they're considered Smarties in the US. So, but I digress. Back to me.
Jason just watched the painting yesterday. Thought the whole thing was really interesting.
Oh, I got a dog in here.
Jason.
We gotta let the dog out. Who let the dogs out? Okay,
Friday,
there you go.
Alfredo.
There you go. See you later. I'll come see you later.
Who let the dog out?
I let the dog out.
Why don't you guys sell the Liquitex Basics and Mediums, brushes, etc.? Would be so handy when we were ordering everything else from you. I would assume it's because we're not a stationery store.
Yeah, well, part of it is because we are not equipped to carry this kind of stuff. We're not. Spool 3D is not a hobby store, which you can get all this kind of stuff at a hobby store. Yeah, it'd be convenient for that, but you know, unfortunately, we don't do it. What else?
The store's not big enough.
Yeah, and we're very limited on space here. As you know, I'm going to do a behind the scenes for our Patreons. We've got a few Patreons now, and I'm going to do a behind the scenes for our Patreons very, very soon. So they'll get a special behind the scenes look at how we actually do a production. We do these live streams. It's not that hard, mind you, but you know, it is what it is.
It's more fun than difficult.
It is more fun than difficult. So I have rockets on my desk. I should probably put those out of the way because I'll never. So we have 6 minutes to go. Who do we got online that I can say hi to? We got William Donald, I see, is there.
Joshua West is here.
Josh.
Zelenitsky. She just got her rockets today.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah, because they give them away with... so, yeah, everybody order from Spool 3D, you get free rockets.
Yeah, you get this stuff.
Thanks, Cheryl. She loves your videos. She finds you very informative.
There you go. You get these things. Thank you, Cheryl. I appreciate that. These are so good. I got to put them in frame. These are so good. I have a hard time staying out of them some days and then I'll have 3 or 4 packages empty on my desk, and like Frank today, turned around and threw them all in the garbage.
Are you all having a collection here? You should have one of those in every shot you make on your show. Just like there's always one sitting there somewhere.
some rockets in the corner.
Like, where's Waldo, right? If you want to watch, the show, you can find the hidden rockets.
There you go. There you go. You know, people saw the painting tutorial on Wednesday. Hey, Don. And we're going to talk a lot about where we're at with Pennywise today. We're actually in the home stretch, really. He's been sprayed, and I'll talk a little bit about that during the show today. We are going to use some clear base on his eyes and his lips, just to kind of make them look a little wet. I was looking for my future floor polish at home, and I could not find my future floor polish. So we're going to use all-clad lacquer clear base, which will kind of do the same thing. And because I've already sealed this with some of this stuff, and I'll talk about that later too, it'll be easy to go in and it won't disturb the paint any. So, but we'll talk about that.
We got Alfredo now. We got William Donald is watching.
Alfredo and William. Hello.
Why rockets instead of gummy bears? Well, rockets, man. Why? That question.
Why rockets instead of gummy bears?
That hurts my sensibilities.
That
hurts 6-year-old me.
Well, I'm a jujube fan. For anybody that doesn't know what jujubes or jujubes are, I'm totally addicted to them. I've weaned myself off of them for the most part. I've been supplementing my jujube addiction with Twizzlers, and my wife can attest to that. I go and buy the big family pack, and time the movie's over at home, it's almost all gone. It's Maynard's and other kind of gummy candies, sour peach or peach sours or whatever they're called. We were giving those away in the little Halloween packets, but you know, you can only spend so much on candy. And the rockets, we get at Costco in a giant bag, and that's why we put them in everybody's lunch or order from Spool 3D. Last night was really interesting. For anybody that's watching the show that didn't know about yesterday, last night I went to my local 3D printing club, which I'm a member of, the Calgary 3D Printing Club. And I haven't been there in months. Even long before we went to Maker Faire last year at the end of October. I hadn't been there in quite some time, just because I was building the show and I was getting it ready. And now I'm into the show, which I do 3 times a week, as everybody here knows. And it was just fun to go there last night. And I did a presentation on the advancements in 3D printing and 3D printers and how they're becoming the new PC of the home market. And how the hobby is not just a hobby of, you know, geeks like myself and Frank and everybody that watches this show. It is more about the global acceptance, just like PCs were back in the 80s when, you know, they said that no homes will have PCs in them. That's ridiculous. That's only for offices. But now, you know, I'm probably going to say 75 to 80% of homes around the world have a computer, a personal computer of some sort in their home. That's going to be the same way with 3D printing as it advances and prices come down and that sort of thing. So we're just about ready to start. Got lots to talk about today. Wow, tons.
One question for you right off the bat
okay.
when we come back.
Okay.
Excuse me.
We'll tackle that question.
I hope I'm getting that right.
We'll tackle that question once we run the intro. Okay. And I introduce who I am. But you guys know who I am. But 14 seconds. Here we go. This is where I shut up, because if I don't, I'll just keep talking.
Point at the screen. There it is.
Hey, welcome to the show. This is Coffee with Rich. We do this twice a week, every Monday and Friday. This is our First Layer live stream. If you're new here to the First Layer, we are a show that explores the world of 3D printing. From hardware to software to tips and tricks and how-tos, unboxings, all kinds of stuff. We do that right here. And did I introduce myself? I did say it. I'm Richard Cleveland. I'm your host. I'm here with you 3 times a week. Every Wednesday we do a recorded show. This week we've been talking about painting your 3D prints. If you were with us on Monday, you'll know that we talked about the paints that I use for most things that I do. And this is the Liquitex brand. We're not sponsored by Liquitex. These are all out of my own personal collection. I used to paint a lot of miniatures and paint stuff for Games Workshop, if anybody's familiar with them. And I just found these were A, economical, and B, easy to obtain instead of trying to find little bottles of stuff. Now, we've got a lot to get to today. We're going to finish up Pennywise today. Most of you might have seen a picture of Pennywise, pretty much done. This model Pennywise, let's go to that camera. Let me go to that. Oh, there we go. Let's go to that camera. So you can see we finished painting Pennywise for the most part. There's probably a few things I still have to do on him. I didn't go through the entire thing because everything that we did on the tunic on Wednesday, which was dry brushed, I did pretty much on the rest of the model as well. There's a lot of dry brushing and some blending that went in. There's areas I'm still not happy with. I'm going to have to go back and clean up. But for the most part, this is Pennywise. And this comes to us from our friends at inov3d.co.uk. And they have a great selection of models for sale over there. And they're doing something really, really good for us right now is all of the members of the First Layer, whether you be on Facebook or YouTube, if you're watching this in the rebroadcast, you can still use this coupon code. It is coupon code First Layer to get a little bit of money off your order from inov3d.co.uk. And they've got some great models over there. They've got a few different variations of Pennywise as well. This is the Christmas one they sent to me. You know, I printed it out. It prints really nice. There was very little cleanup I had to actually do on this model. There was some support material that I did pull off, but other than that, I didn't quite get the coloring right. But you know, it's my model, so I'll paint it any way I want to paint it. But let's quickly get into talking about what we're going to do to gloss up those eyes and the lips today, because that's really all we have left to do. Before I do get into that, I want to quickly tell you about this stuff. This is lacquer. Spray lacquer from Testers, and I bought this and I've used this for many, many years, and all it really does is it helps to seal the paint that you have on the figure already or any model that you're doing. So if you, let's say you're got your paint right to the way that you want it, spray on this stuff after the paint is fully cured, let this cure, and then you can go on and continue painting. And you can paint right over this stuff, it's fine. The beauty of it is, if you seal the parts that are to your liking, first and foremost, then you can go back, if you make a mistake, you can rub off with just a little bit of water on a rag. You can take off any mistakes that you've made on parts that have been pre-sealed, which is kind of nice. So let's get into Pennywise real quick, and we will gloss coat his eyes just to give them a little bit of a wet look, and same with his lips. We're going to use Allclad's clear base today. Normally I would use Future floor polish, and you can buy that pretty much anywhere. Future floor polish is available, if I can even get the lid off of this. Holy Christmas. I may not be able to get the lid off of this. I'm going to go back to my camera. Hey, I'm trying to get the lid off of this thing. When all else fails.
Cheryl really wants us to sell paints really badly.
Well, I will talk to the...
I think she's kind of right, though, or she makes good points.
Ah, there we go. So we're going to use a little bit of this lacquer. Oh, that stuff stinks. don't be huffing the lacquer. Don't be huffing the lacquer. We're going to get to your questions here in just a few minutes. I'm just going to grab a brush here that I want to use for the lacquer, and I'm just going to use a very small brush. This one is my 5-0. I don't need anything big, but I'm going to go right in and just get some on my brush. And now all I'm going to do is just go over those lips to give them a little bit of a wet look. You can see that already starts to gloss up the lips. We're going to do the same thing in the eyes. And that way the eyes will look wet. And that's something that we want. So we're pretty much finished up with Pennywise at this stage of the game. I'll try and get my head out of the shot so you guys can see what I'm doing. All I'm doing is just going over those eyes with a little bit of wetness just to give it a little bit of color. Now, you can see on this model, what I did was I went underneath the eyes with a little bit of not the primary red, pardon me. I went under with a little bit of the red oxide that I have. And a lot of these colors have red oxide mixed into them. And they will, what that does is it just basically gives me a nice look for what I'm after here in terms of that color. And now all the colors on this were done by hand. None of this was airbrushed. The only thing that was sprayed on was the lacquer coat that I put on the spray lacquer and the primer. And the primer that I used, and everybody asks me this question a million times, so I'm going to share it again with you guys. The undercoat or primer that I use is this stuff right here. It's Duplicolor Filler Primer. In this case, I only really did one coat on Pennywise, and now he is done. So we are all done with Pennywise. We can close up our lacquer here. We'll grab a little bit of paper towel and clean up our brush. Somebody was asking me on Monday about brush cleaner. And the brush cleaner that I use is the Masters Brush Cleaner and Preserver. That's this stuff right here. You guys, hopefully you can see that. You can find this in any art store, Michael's, that sort of thing. I know I say Michael's a lot, but they do have a good variety of artist supplies. If you can't find them if you don't have an art store near you, most places have a Michael's near them. This stuff is really good because not only is it good for oil paints, it's good for wet oil paint, dry oil paint, watercolors, acrylics, and stains for cleaning your brush. And all you simply do, and I'm going to show you guys how to do this. The brush that I used for my lacquer, I got it wet. Now I'm just going to brush it in there. I'm going to use my finger as well, just to kind of get a little bit of soap on there. And I'll drag it back. And there we go. That's all you need to do. Take your fingers, just give it a little bit of a scrub. Scrub that through so your brush doesn't get bad. Rinse it off in your water. And so this is the water that I'm using. Just rinsing it off in the water. And then finally taking it on my brush or on my paper towel. And what you're going to do is you're not going to put it at your brush at an extreme angle. You're going to have it very low, and you're going to pull back, and you're just going to twirl that brush as you pull it back and let it ride underneath your finger. And the reason that we do that is so that we can keep a nice point on our brush, and that'll help to make your brushes last a lot longer. Okay? So that pretty much is that. Now somebody's going to ask me the question, well, who won? As everybody knows, we had 250 subscribers this week, and I couldn't be happier. We're actually, as of today, we're at 278 as of today. So all the names went into a virtual hat. which is online. I take all the names from both YouTube and from Facebook, and I put them into a database online, and I let that generate a winner. And our winner for the 250 subscriber contest to YouTube is Graham Fortledge from Winnipeg, Manitoba, here in Canada. So Graham is going to get himself the... Oh, let me see if I can go and grab this stuff real quick. I am certainly not prepared for everything. Look at that. So, Graham is getting himself the Rey bobblehead from Star Wars The Force Awakens. He's getting this beautiful poster from Star Trek. And now this is on a heavy card or poster stock. This beautiful poster from Star Trek. He'll be getting this poster as well as a $50 gift certificate to Spool 3D. So where does that leave us? Well, that leaves us with a whole nother contest. And that's going to go out to Graham. I'm going to get his address and stuff. Well, Graham watches the show. So that brings us into a whole nother contest. Going into 500 subscribers, we have a bunch of stuff to give away. We are giving away the entire book set, and now it's soft cover, but it is the book set of the Game of Thrones. Fire and Cold and Fire or something is what it's all called. We are giving away a action figure, limited edition action figure from Game of Thrones. We are also going to, I'm going to print out a bust, and that will be going out to one lucky winner as well. And finally, another $50 gift certificate from spool3d.ca. And we really like having Spool 3D as a sponsor because they give us this wonderful space to use each and every week. And without it, I'd be coming from my basement, and Frank would never come to my house, ever. Because my house is horrible.
No comment.
No comment?
No comment.
No comment. Okay. But
Sounds
that,
like a warning, though.
that's kind of a warning, yeah. Yeah. But that being said, we really appreciate what Spool 3D does for us. Listen, if you're looking for parts, printers, or filaments, check out spool3d.ca. Print it right, print it with spool3d.ca. They help us out with what we need when we're doing the show. So, let me talk quickly about some things that happened on our Facebook page this week. We got, first, I'm going to go to my computer here and go over to this website here, which is inov3d.co.uk. And I'm just going to refresh this because the video ran out. These folks have a wonderful set of prints that they're starting to work on and build up their own little shop of 3D prints. Very good artists. I've been in touch with William a few times. And William and his lovely wife, who run and own Inno3D, have given you guys that discount code, which I talked about a little bit earlier. And I'm going to bring it up one more time. If you are looking for any of their models and want a little bit of a discount on your order, then type in first layer at coupon code when you're doing your checkout, and you'll get a little bit of money off. I'm not really sure how much. Maybe William can tell us in the comments. But Inno3D. Now, secondly, I want to talk about Malek's 3 Designs, or 3design.com. He just released the Panzerhound, and I believe that is a model from Wolfenstein, if I'm not mistaken. He also recently released the Mercy 3D model, which, or a 3D printable model from Overwatch. I believe it's from a video game, Overwatch. And there's plenty of good things over there to have a look at and maybe add to your STL collection. Batman, there's Batgirl, there's some Star Wars stuff, there's some all kinds of great models over on the site at Malek's 3D Design. And finally, Emilio Vitt, who is one of our newest members, who is also a designer, puts out different models from time to time and has given you guys the ability to download his latest model called Lion Cut .7 Zip. Or Lion 2, I think is what it's called when you download it and unzip it. But it is Lion-O from the Thundercats. It is an amazing looking model. I've got it printing over on the Wanhao Duplicator i3 right now, and then we're going to put it all together. It's a multi-part model, and it will look amazing, and we'll paint that up at some point in time as well. He also has a great collection of other models on there. You can see there's a Skeletor, a Punisher model, some guy with his head in his butt. The Demigorgon. You can go to www.ev-props.com. Now, those are in the description on the YouTube page. All those links will be in the description over there for you. So make sure you go out, show these guys some love. They do hard work. They do amazing models, all three of them. William, Malix, and Emilio all do amazing work, and I couldn't be happier to have all three of those guys in our group and help out you guys getting new models. Now, there's another one that I'm working on right now to bring to you, and they specifically deal in a lot of Star Wars style models. So I'm trying to get in touch with that individual. So that will be coming very soon, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that when we get there. What else have we got going on?
Alfredo Brado wants to know if a live broadcast, if we are going to have a live broadcast where we talk about 3D printers, commenting on the features of the printers themselves. So
yes, we are.
Sort of
there is a marker on my desk. Oh, you've got the marker and the pad. If you
writing it down right now. Yes, we're going to do that.
We're going to do that. What I'm doing is I erased the whole month of February off my whiteboard because I try and plan shows ahead of time, and it really becomes a hassle because I can't remember everything that everybody wants to see because I'm old and I'm feeble and my brain is turning to mush. No, not really. But I've decided that the best way for me to do this is to get sticky notes, or what do you call those notes? Do-a-notes or?
Sticky notes.
Yeah, sticky notes.
Yeah, because they're sticky and you write notes on them.
And yeah, they're sticky and you write notes on them. So I've been writing down different things for stuff that you guys want to see as we move forward, and I'm putting them up on the whiteboard as sticky notes. So up there right now, we've got painting your models, which we covered today. We're going to get into more advanced painting later on. Maker cribs, let's talk about that real quick. Maker cribs is coming. Next Wednesday, we're going to do our first segment that was submitted by our friend Don, the German printing nerd. He gives us a look at his setup, and we're going to add that into Wednesday's show. Printer rebuild. We're going to be doing that. I'm waiting on some parts before I get into that rebuild, but I am going to be doing really kind of a over-the-top rebuild on an old printer. We're going to talk about how to level your bed and print bed tramming. And what print bed tramming is, it's a process where you adjust the tool head to the bed. So you make sure that your tool head is level with your bed, as opposed to leveling your bed and trying to get it level with, you know, all four corners. Once you tram it, you should be fine. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about the use of Cura and how to use Cura in the very near future, how to install your firmware, how to upgrade your firmware. We're going to do more unboxings and setups as we go through. We're going to give you a short tutorial on how to use Simplify 3D, which is a slicing program that is a pay-to-buy program. It's $150 US, but we are going to talk about that. I own that program, so I use it all the time, so I don't use Cura very often. We are going to do model prints and reviews coming up. What else I got up there? We've got some cool projects using 3D printing. Specifically, we're going to talk about doing that slider project. Commercial maker spaces, 3D design software, how to use that, like Fusion 360. A couple of things that came up last night. How would you guys like me to do a whole show dedicated to a 3D food printer?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Would you guys like that?
Chocolate.
Just give me a thumbs up in the comments, or a happy face, or a winky face, or a high five, or a fist bump, whatever you want to do in the comments below. Because last night I got to see a 3D food printer, and they were 3D printing with hummus in this food printer last night. And although there's still a few bugs to work out, once they got the bugs worked out, we're going to give you guys an in-depth look at this 3D food printer. That's going to change things for people, amazingly. We're also going to take a look at a new app that has recently surfaced on how you can add your face to a cartoon character and have that 3D printed. So we're going to talk about that in upcoming episodes as well. I got the app for it last night. Now there's some bugs in the app. It's still in its beta testing stage. It is available right now, and well, I might as well talk about it. Pass me my phone.
Let's look at that. Yes, please.
Pass me my phone real quick.
It's going to solve a lot of problems if that works.
When it works, they've got some preloaded programs now on it, or some preloaded body types on it. It's pretty funny. The app is called, and you can get this both on Android and iOS. However, on Android it crashes right now.
Express.
So this is called 3Doll. So you can create your own 3Doll. That's the number 3 DOLL in the App Store on both Apple and Android. And what you do is there's a button in the middle. Let me see if I can get this. No, we don't have this set up yet, so I'm not going to do that. I was going to try and show, hey, I can use this monitor above me. Hey, look at that. All right, so this is the app right here. What you do is you hit create when you're setting it up. You'll see that there's crossbars there. You line that up on your face. Once you've got it lined up, it goes white. If it's not white, if it's red, then you're not in the crosshairs and they can't get a good reference or read off your face. Let me see if I put my thumb up over it, over the camera, it should turn red right away. Oh, no, it's still seeing my thumb as. Okay, well, it's red now because it doesn't see my face properly. But what this will do is it'll take a picture of your face, then it'll ask you to pick your eye points. It'll fill in the rest of the points and make a 3D face from your face. And then you can use that to order your 3D doll. And it is a company here in Calgary that is doing it. And once the app is ready to go, I'm going to do a full review on it, and you guys will get a chance to see that.
You can't get. Can you get an STL from it and print your own?
I do not know if you can get an STL from it or not. So I think right now it's just an app for you to order your own action figure, I guess.
Aaron says, "Who's that by? Is that by a separate company, or is it?"
It is by a separate company.
Do you know who it is?
It is 4G. Let me see if I can get into. Oh, that's not it.
So we're gonna find out who that's by here, Aaron, if we can for you.
Let's see who the. I have nothing in my collections yet, so. This was produced by 4G. It doesn't even say who it was produced by. Let me go to the App Store real quick, and I'll find it there because that's where I found it yesterday.
Way to go, local boy. Way to go, local boy. Oh, I put the emphasis on the wrong syllable. 4G Vision Tech.
4G Vision Tech, yeah. That is correct. 4G Vision Tech Limited is 3Doll, and you can order your doll of yourself off your cell phone. It also works on Apple. Apparently it works on Apple a little bit better than it works on Android right now. So you know, it's one of those things. Any questions I need to answer? You said you had a question at the top of the show.
Yeah, we've answered that a long time ago.
Okay.
Kathleen's wondering if how about doing anything about printing from Windows 10 with the Windows 10 3D builder, which I wouldn't really recommend using anyways. Or is it just like any other software? So she's asking about the Windows 10 3D builder.
I have not used the Windows 10 3D builder yet. I will explore that for you if you can put a little note on my board there.
It's very basic.
I will look into that for you, Kathleen, and I'm sure everybody else would like to know. And if you've got any comments about that, please put them in the comments below the video here on Facebook and on YouTube. If you're watching this show on the rebroadcast, make sure that you hit the like button. That always helps us to get our metrics up. It goes a long way to helping our channel. Leave a comment, because the more interaction that we have with the audience, the better we rank up in the YouTube search engine as well. So even if it's just to say hi, any comment works. That brings me to another point. If you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe to us on Facebook and hit that little bell notification button. Get notified every time we do a new video, whether we're doing a live stream or we are doing a recorded show, every time we upload a new recorded show. And the beauty of that is that every time we get somebody new, it goes towards a new contest. Because we've got a new contest going on right now, just like I said. We finished the first contest, now we're on to the next one. And we also, and I talked about this on Monday and a little bit on Wednesday, I've set up a Patreon so that if people feel that they'd like to help, they can help us by going to patreon.com/thefirstlayer. Can you put up that lower third for me? Nope, not that one. The red one, right there.
Patreon. Sorry,
yeah.
There's a few questions. I'm trying to look at.
Yeah, it's if you want to go to patreon.com//thefirstlayer and you'd like to help us out, I've only got 3 levels up there: $1, $5, and $10. We're starting to build it. I am working on T-shirts because I know people want T-shirts. So I'm working on T-shirts. If you are a Patreon subscriber and you're in that $10 range, I'm going to be doing contests just for people that go into that $10 range. So, and then we're going to do, I'm going to have some behind the scenes videos coming up for $5, $10 and on. And I thank you very much for your support, because without your support and without you guys signing up to subscribe to our channel and be a supporter and a community member over on Facebook, we wouldn't do this show at all. So thank you very much for that. What else do I need to talk about real quick?
Is there any software that can tell you when a print is near a layer height, so that you don't have to sit there and watch it to do multicolor print, so that, like, you know, I know that there are settings in software that you can stop or pause at a certain layer.
I don't know if there's any specific software out there that will do that for you, but I do know that in Simplify 3D, which is what I use, you can tell it when you want it to switch colors by doing multi-processes. And I will do a little bit of a video on that and show you how to do a multi-process print like I've done before with this sign. This was done in a multi-process print. If you look at the side, you can see we have red and white. And all I basically did, I printed this on the CR10, and all I did was I told it to stop at the last layer height of the red. So once it finished the last layer height of the red, it stopped. It allowed me to change the filament, and I changed it to white. I purged the filament. Then when I told it to start up again, it just went and printed all the white stuff on the sign. So you can do that in Simplify 3D. It's a little bit more complicated to do it in Cura, but it can be done. So we'll show you guys how to do that when we dive into those different softwares. Any other questions I need to answer real quick?
There was a suggestion for doing a show on flexible filaments. I wrote it down. It's on the board. We're going to do that. So also, Cheryl Zelenitsky actually does embroider T-shirts and screen shirts.
Oh, okay.
So that looks like an offer if I ever heard one. So.
That sounds. You know, that's Jennifer Zelinsky.
No, Cheryl.
Cheryl Zelinsky.
I hope I'm saying that right.
Zelenitsky. Okay. Cheryl, contact me through Facebook in private message and we'll talk, because I really want to start doing some t-shirts, and I'm looking at a couple of companies right now where I don't have to carry the merch here and they can do a kind of one-offs, and then we'll just do a small runs of different shirts. I'm trying to come up with some creative sayings to put on shirts that are 3D printed related. So well, I will ask you. Look, he's getting all bent out of shape because I haven't asked him yet. But we will talk. Cheryl, contact me and we'll talk a little bit after the show. What else we got?
That's good so far.
That's good so far.
We haven't really looked at much painting today, though.
Well, we did do some painting, and I explained some of the processes that we did.
Anybody got any more questions on painting then?
Yeah, if you got any more questions on painting, I'm ready to answer them. Let's see how glossy our lips are. Boy, did those ever come out glossy.
How about some really fine print detail?
Fine print detail.
That's what you need SLS for.
Yes. SLA printing will produce the finest prints you'll ever find, but they don't produce large prints. So doing something like the larger figures behind me, or even the masks over here, I couldn't do on SLA because I don't have an SLA big enough. FormBot, I believe, does have an SLA that is bigger. I am going to start painting this guy pretty soon. This is the Dr. Doom mask you guys saw me talk about last week. So we are going to paint the Dr. Doom mask, and when we do paint the Dr. Doom mask, this is going to get sprayed. This is not going to get brushed, this is going to get sprayed. First we're going to use our primer filler. Dr. Doom, being a vain, evil mastermind, would keep his mask in pristine condition as best that he could. So we are going to try and replicate that as best that we can, and we're going to start with the filler primer on that, and then we're going to get into using the all-clads. And I'll just put Dr. Doom's face down here and go to this camera right here, and I've got a few different all-clads. Now these are metal lacquer paints. They smell to high heaven. So we are going to be using the airbrush with these, and we are going to use proper respiratory equipment and paint in a proper ventilated area. So we've got aircraft or airframe aluminum. We have stainless steel. We have steel. And we also have gold. Now we won't put any pale gold on the mask, but I'm trying to decide if I should use stainless steel, or airframe aluminum. What do you guys think? You let me know down in the comments below which one you guys think I should use. And then we're going to start painting the Dr. Doom fairly soon, and we'll show you how to do that. I love this mask. The detail on this is absolutely beautiful. Now you can see some layer lines. I have started to sand this a little bit. I don't want to over sand it. I don't want it to be totally completely smooth. I want those layer lines there a little bit because I want it to look like brushed metal when it's done, so it has a really, if anybody's seen real brushed metal, they'll know what I mean. But this fits pretty good, and I'll put some straps on it, and maybe Halloween will be Dr. Doom. Who knows? So there you go, Dr. Doom. And we will at some point in time get back to finishing Darth Vader back there as well.
A few questions.
Sure.
How do you create your work? What printer do you use? So I know you use a lot of printers, so maybe what your favorite printers are to use right now.
Yeah, I use a lot of printers. I actually have 5 printers, to my wife's chagrin. I have the Wanhao Duplicator 6, which I primarily use for doing ABS, because I have other printers for doing PLA. And my Wanhao Duplicator i3, I use PLA, ABS, PETG, all different types of materials in there. I have a Prusa i3 that I built myself. That is one of my custom builds, and that is very much like the Prusa Mark II. It's only on an acrylic frame, which is the only difference to it. I am going to upgrade that frame to a V-slot frame, an aluminum frame. And then I also have the Wilson 2 3D printer, which is another one that I built. And then I'm doing an upgrade on my original Hicktop. And that's going to be an upgrade that you guys are going to be fascinated by. I'm going over the top on that upgrade. We're waiting for some parts to come in before I do that. I'll be using linear rails. For anybody that's mechanically inclined, I'll be using flat linear rails on that upgrade, and you guys will get a chance to see that. So my favorite printer out of them all is a printer I don't really own just yet, but I have access to, and that is the Creality CR10. I like that printer for many reasons, mostly because I can print much bigger things like this mask all in one go. I sliced up, for anybody who's a comic book fan, you'll know who Dr. Fate is. I put the entire helmet in Simplified 3D, and it fits on the bed completely, so I can do that in one print. So I may end up doing that one as well at some point in time. I'm a big Star Wars fan, so the Creality CR10 is great for me because I can do big prints on it. My favorite printer of all time that I use constantly is probably my Wanhao Duplicator i3, and my Wilson 2 printer comes in a close second, very close second.
Have you printed in carbon fiber yet?
I have not printed in carbon fiber yet, and I know that a lot of people have been requesting me to print in carbon fiber. I am going to talk to Derek about that and see if I can get some carbon fiber in here. My Wanhao Duplicator i3 is set up for printing carbon fibers, metals, and basically whatever I can throw at it, it'll print it. So we're going to talk a little bit about that.
Fred's asking about the D6, the plastic doors on the D6. Is the doors in the hood good as enclosure for doing ABS? Like, do you have to...
Yes, the door, all the acrylic parts that come with the Duplicator, the Wanhao Duplicator 6, are all very good, and they do help to keep that heat in. Right now I am experiencing a small problem with, where did I put those? Oh, they're right here. I made some 1, 2, 3 blocks for anybody who's not aware of what a 1, 2, 3 block is. That's a 1, 2, 3 block. And I did them because I'm going to be tramming the printers pretty soon, because I want to show you how to do that. But on this one here especially, let's see if we can go to that camera. You can see right here, it warped really badly. And this was at the front of the bed. So I have a funny feeling that my bed is, I still have a little bit of work to do, fine tune that on the bed. I just recently did an upgrade on the Duplicator 6 in terms of the firmware. There's some not off the shelf firmware, but second party firmware that is available for it, and it opens up a lot of different options for you, and we'll get into that at a little later date. But 1, 2, 3 blocks, yeah, you can download this off of Thingiverse and just type in 1, 2, 3 blocks, and this is printed in ABS, so it's nice and strong. And I haven't looked to see how square it is, but we'll find out. And we're just going to use these to tram our bed along with a dial caliper in the near future. Anything else?
Do you recommend adding a dual extruder kit to the Creality CR10S?
Do I recommend it? I'm going to tell you honestly, I don't have a use for a dual extruder. Some people do, and that's fine. Would I put a dual on the CR10? Probably not. Would it be cool to have one? Sure it would be. Can you do it? Yeah, I think you can. There is room for another extruder on the board that comes with the CR10, or comes with the CR10S, and that's the version 2 board. There is another input there to put a second extruder, so you can do it. I'm just not sure of the mechanics on how you do it.
Fred wants to hear more about the firmware, but I assume you're doing a whole show.
Yeah, I'm going to do a whole show on firmware a little later on, Fred. So where are we then?
Fred's talking about putting an extraction fan in the hole for the reel holder, so for an enclosure to get the air out, or to
what I would do,
air condition the whole box, really.
Yeah, I think what I would do there, separately is make sure that all my electronics were outside of the box that I'm creating as a chamber. The reason for that is even if you have an exhaust fan, it's not cooling the electronics that are in the box for the CR10 or for the Wanhao Duplicator i3 or Prusa's. There's no real takeaway of that excess heat that's still building up in that chamber. Why we put ABS in a chamber is because it is very susceptible to temperature change. If the temperature falls too rapidly for it, it will start to split and it will start to curl. This is a heating issue. This is not because wind or breeze is getting into the print, because the temperature in there is pretty consistent, but this is from something completely different. So I have to discover what that problem is. And it only did it on one. This other block is perfectly fine. And that should answer most of the questions, I think.
Yeah. Oh, I hate when I go over the...
Frank's looking for your questions.
There are, I'm answering questions.
Hey, can you guys hear Frank better today?
Somebody said they could. Please stop.
Because we gave him a mic.
What would you do for a test print, Richard? I mean, if you weren't to do a benchy, I find that a benchy is a good test print, but it doesn't cover enough of the bed, so you can't see your bed level with a little tiny benchy.
You're right. You cannot see your bed level with a little tiny benchy. On Thingiverse, if you go to bed leveling on Thingiverse, there are a small ton of different patterns that will cover the complete bed of your 3D printer. And you can see where you're a little bit too high, where you're a little bit too low, where it's dragging and pulling the plastic up. So go and check out Thingiverse for 3D printed bed tests, I think is what it is, or bed leveling tests. And that should pretty much round everything up, yeah?
I think so, yeah. We've already gotten almost an hour here.
Okie doke. Well,
we could go forever if you guys.
We could go forever. If you guys wanted me to, I could go all day. But somebody did recommend to me, and I'll bring this up real quick. Somebody asked if I would be interested in doing a marathon live stream. If I do a marathon live stream, and that's a 24 to 48 hour live stream, it would have to be done over the weekend. And I would probably put that in with a charity of some sort, just so that we can raise money for a charity, okay? If you guys want to see something like that and you're interested in showing your support for the charity and being a part of the live stream, let me know. I am going to do a live stream with my Patreon supporters very soon. I'm going to set one up, and it'll just kind of be a round table of us all discussing different things. And I want to thank the 3D Printing Club of Calgary last night for inviting me to speak and talk about the innovations in 3D printing over the last 10, 20 years. 3D printing got its start in 1984, as most people know, and it wasn't until 1989 that it really started to get out there. So we are still in that adolescent stage of 3D printing, so things are changing, and they treated me really well last night, and I got to thank them for that. So with that said, guys, it is Friday, and thank God it's Friday, because it's the end of the week, and now I can take a deep breath and get ready for Monday. So again, if you haven't subscribed and you're watching this in the rebroadcast, please hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell, and make sure that you get updated every time we put up a brand new episode or that we do a live stream. And if you can, please take a look at our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/thefirstlayer, just to kind of, if you want to see more content and help us produce the show. With that said, you guys have yourselves a wonderful weekend. My name's Richard Cleveland. That guy over there, that's Frank. Awesome.
Bye, everybody.
And we're going to go and have a great weekend. You guys do one too. Till then.
this one's so far behind. Oh, YouTube finished first today.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Usually Facebook finishes first. Well, my Facebook's done on my phone. Even between the two Facebooks, there's a difference.
You can hit the stop stream now.
Oh, I thought I had to wait till this one was done.
Now, once you see that, you can hit stop stream because that means it's populated.